What's going on, guys? We can actually do a positive Celtics broadcast for once this year. Super fucking crazy. Wow, how things have changed. I'm hoping it stays on the up and up, but we're going to just stick with the positive vibes for right now. So right now, the Celtics have won 7 of their last 8 games. Never thought I'd see the day. Never thought we'd be saying those words. They are now 30-25. They do sit in 8th place, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers right now. So I will take that as a win. I will take that as they are moving in the right direction. So I'm just going to recap you on those 8 games because that is where I left you last. So they were going to Washington to take on the Wizards, and they blow this game out, 29 points. They win 116-87. And this was actually the game where Tatum started off really hot, 4 for 4 to start after being 0 for 20 from 3. And he had a career high 31 points at the half. Tatum ended up ending the game with almost 50 points. He had 48 points in the third quarter. And obviously, as you know, when it is a blowout game, it is garbage minutes time. So he did not really play much in the fourth quarter. Tatum was 3 assists away from a triple-double. He actually ended the night 51, 10, and 7, so my apologies. He ended up just breaking over the 50-point mark, but he didn't get to break his career high record. But you know what? He will. Smart's first game back in a while, and they were 3-6 without Smart, so you really see the key in having Smart on the court. They obviously are more successful with Smart being on the court, and he's obviously doing much better filling in as a point guard. I feel he is now going to be Marcus Smart, point guard. Then they took on the Sacramento Kings, 53-point blowout win at home at the Garden. They won that game 128-75. They had a 40-point lead in the third quarter. So once again, garbage minutes. You see PP, Rome, and Nesmith out there trying to earn their worth and earn their keep on the team. We had Tatum with 36 points. Brown had 30 and 10, double-double. My man, Rob Lob. I don't know which one I like more, a Rob Block or a Rob Lob. It's like a Sophie's Choice. I can't tell you which one I prefer seeing more. He's just so epic, so amazing. He has very quickly became one of my top favorite players of all time for the Celtics. He had a career high 17 rebound night for him. And you know what? At this point, we see that they maintained and kept the lead for once. And this starts off their win streak vibes. They had 2 games under their belt with the W. However, you had to get that one loss, right? In the midst of all of that, they go to Atlanta. They take on the Hawks. And the Hawks were on a 5-game win streak at this point. They were a below 500 team, believe it or not. A lot of the teams in the East having really questionable records, even though, you know, if you look at their rosters, they are better in real life than they are on paper right now. But the Celtics ended up losing this game 108-92. Way too many turnovers. Their 3-shot selection was not great. However, Jaylen Brown was consistent with his double-doubles. That's actually the third consecutive game. That is a career high for him, averaging a double-double in those last 3 games. The Celtics trailed the whole entire game, so I don't know what happened when they left Boston and went to Atlanta. Maybe they, hit up one of those famous Magic City strip club places or whatever, had themselves too much of a good time in the ATL, and they ended up getting the L, 108-92. And it was also weird, I noted that Horford oddly did not return to the game after only playing 16 minutes. So I wasn't sure what happened there to Old Al. And obviously the Celtics put in their B squad kind of a little bit early in the fourth, but the Hawks kept with their starters late in the game. The announcers are actually questioning that choice. Why were you keeping your starters in when the Celtics have already waved the white flag and put in their B squad? So that was an interesting game. We want to kind of put that in the past because obviously we don't want to dwell too much on the L's. So Celtics then had a traveling back-to-back. They went to the Pelicans. The Pelicans were also on a back-to-back, but they were having a homestead. So obviously the Celtics were at a more disadvantage because they were traveling from Atlanta to New Orleans. However, the Celtics maintained to get their stamina up and get the win 107-97. They started off red hot. They faded out a little bit. They went scoreless for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So when they have scoring droughts, that's really where you see, maybe they're a little gassed. Maybe, they got too comfortable with the lead and they took their competition a little too lightly. They ended up having a 20-point lead in the third quarter. Both the Jays had 30-plus points each. Tatum again almost with a triple-double. They both combined for a nice 69 points. Rob had 16 rebounds, again keeping that number high. That's what we want to see. And Smart had 11 assists tonight to match his season high. He had 11 assists 2 other times in his career, and I like seeing those numbers. I like seeing those stats. Keep up the good work there, Marcus Smarty. So then they come back home and they face the Heat. And this was another blowout win by 30, 122-92. The Celtics started off hot, and then again, they're working on maintaining that type of mentality, maintaining that type of energy because they did not let up. They started off hot, 21-7 to start the game. However, they did a little bit get off the gas pedal. They were tied in the second quarter, but they turned it around. They did not have a shitty third quarter. To everyone's surprise, they were actually up by 24 points at the end of the third quarter. However, no Jimmy Butler, no Kyle Lowry, and no PJ Tucker for the Heat. Tatum again getting a nice double-double there. So really seeing that the Celtics are now capitalizing when teams are short-handed, which is great. A win is a win. That's all I'm going to say. You don't hear us complaining when we were down 13 players due to COVID and we were getting our ass kicked. You play with the people you got to put on the floor for the starting five, and it is what it is. Then they take on the Hornets at home. They win this game again, 113-107. It was actually a very close game the whole time. LaMelo Ball, the other Melo brother, the one that's actually better. LaMelo, not to be confused with Melo as in Carmelo Anthony. I will never call LaMelo Melo, just so that we're clear. That's a generational thing. He had 38 points. And actually, to much of my surprise, Josh Richardson was our leading scorer of this game. But the thing I highlighted in all capital letters on my notes was assists. They were doing really well with assists. We want to see ball movement. We want to see people passing up the rock and giving their teammates opportunities to score. We had multiple Celtics in double digits. At least 6 players, if not more, were in double digits from this game. So that's great. When you see multiple people in double digits, you know that the ball is being shared well. The distribution of points is being nicely distributed on that stat sheet. And that usually, if not always, ends in a win. Then they went to Detroit and took on the Pistons. Now, listen, this was a game that, earlier in the season, and sometimes now, you would look and say, this team only has 13 wins on their record. Are the Celtics going to show up, or are they going to treat them like they suck, play down to their competition, and then get beat? Because the Pistons are scrappy, and they do play hard. They just suck as a team. So, both of the Jays actually got technicals in the first half. So it was high energy. It was kind of getting aggressive, but they did maintain a double-digit lead in the first half, and they came out victorious. But it was, a little touch and go. They did give up a little bit of that lead. So again, we're trying to work on consistently keeping a lead and not taking your foot off the gas. Then they went to Orlando. They beat the Magic 116-83. They have a 5-game win streak right now. However, this game was a little sloppy, not going to lie. They were not great shooting-wise. Their shooting percentage was not great for this game. The Celtics were only up 10 at the half. And Rob got into a little bit of foul trouble early. He was playing with 4 fouls in the third quarter, so he needs to be a little bit more careful with being way too aggressive to the point where he's doing stupid fouls. We need you to be able to play a full 48. We don't need you fouling out in the third quarter. We need you to have a little bit better judgment. Don't jump too quick. Don't be fooled by people trying to draw the foul off of you. Wild, beautiful top 10 play from Jaylen Brown, posterizing Mo Bamba. It was just beautiful. And they ended up having a 30-point plus lead in the fourth quarter. So again, being able to have a lead, maintain it, and capitalize and get the W. So a 5-game win streak, we haven't seen it at all this season. So that is something to really, really be optimistic about. And I know that I've said before, I've come on here and I've said, okay, they've had a few win streaks, then they'll go on a losing streak, or they'll win 2 here, then lose 1, then win 3, then lose 2, then win 1, then lose 1, then win 4. But you know what? I actually feel like I've seen a change in this team. I am very impressed with them. I feel like they finally have figured it out, better late than never. They were 8 games back from the Nets, and now they are tied with the Nets. And speaking of the Brooklyn Nets, the Celtics go to Brooklyn on Tuesday, aka tomorrow, to take on the Nets. However, the Nets do have a laundry list of people listed as out and questionable. I will give you that right now. They have Paul Millsap out, Joe Harris out, Kyrie, because he won't get the vaccine, he's out. He's not allowed to play at home. KD is listed as out. LaMarcus Aldridge is listed as out. And then we have Claxton and James Harden listed as questionable. But listen, don't take this Nets team too lightly. This is usually a trap game. This is where Celtics see a laundry list of people listed as questionable or out for the game, and then they think that it's going to be an easy win, and then they find themselves trailing to a team that they shouldn't be trailing against. Then they come back home and they take on the Nuggets on Friday. Let's talk All-Star break for a few seconds. I feel as though Jaylen Brown got snubbed. A lot of people feel this way. He's been putting up great numbers. He's been consistent. Like I was telling you before, the double-doubles. He's been averaging good numbers. He's been great. So that is a snub in my opinion. Now, on the other hand, Jason Tatum is now a 3-time All-Star at only the age of 19. Wow, that's fucking crazy. He is a gem. He is an All-Star. He is one of a kind. And now, because KD is out, he is actually going to be a starter again and replace KD in the starting lineup for the All-Star break. So I'm hoping that gives him more of a boost, like it definitely put a fucking chip on Jaylen Brown's shoulder, because he's been playing pissed and it's been working. Like Jaylen has something to prove. He's fucking pissed that he was left off the All-Star roster. So he's been coming back with a vengeance, and that's actually helped us. So I'm mad about it, but I'm not mad about it, because it's lit a fire under Jaylen's ass to be like, oh, you don't think I'm an All-Star again? Yo, fuck you. This is what I'm going to show you. I'm going to put Mo Bamba on a poster. I'm going to keep putting, the assists up, the rebounds up, my stats up, my points per game up. He's like, fuck you guys. I'm going to prove to you that I should have been an All-Star. And then Jason Tatum, I really hope that this also, just solidifies that he is an All-Star. I want him to, put that 0 for 20 3-point record way in the back of your mind. Like, you hit a road bump, no big deal, not a problem. Even Steph Curry has bad days. Seriously. So he needs to, feel like this, he's recognized as an All-Star again, and he is rightfully deserving of that. So I hope that, that gives him, that positive boost, that encouragement, and it lights a fire under his ass too, to be like, you think I'm an All-Star? I'm going to show you that I am an All-Star. Another key date, February 10th, is the trade deadline at 3 p.m. And as we already saw, why can't I think of his name? GM, Dad Brad Stevens. I blanked on his name for a second. he already has made some moves as the new GM, which again, I already touched upon last time, but basically it was a salary move. Obviously, Bol and Dozier have not played, and they're not going to play because they're both injured players, but we use them for salary reasons to get rid of fucking Hernan Gomez, who I hate. But now we got to look at it as, are we keeping Dennis Schroeder? No, we are not. We're not going to pay that much to keep him, unfortunately. He did, have some impact here. Not going to lie about it. He helped us out, but thank you for your services. We are not interested in extending this contract. So we're going to have to package him with some peoples or some picks or some monies or something and ship him out. We need to get some bench help because our bench is significantly lacking. We need to get some bench help, and I would love another big because I love Rob, but I don't want to overwork him to where he gets another injury or he re-injures his last injury. And I don't see old man River, Al Horford being able to, be in the game for long stints of time that we'll need him to be in the game for. Not that he isn't doing well, because he is. I just don't see the stamina for him going long term. And however, I do want him on the team when it comes to a postseason run, because he's been there. And you're like, oh, act like you've been there. He's been there, and he can definitely be a role model and that voice on the bench of veteranism, whatever you want to call it. But he'll definitely be a good source and a good resource for the team at that point. But, I'm not sure what Brad has up his sleeve, but I'm sure he is going to make some moves. There's been a lot of talk about getting rid of Smart. I don't like that idea because obviously you see the numbers when Smart is in the game versus the numbers when he is not in the game. You feel his absence when he is not playing. So I would keep the core four. And the core four are the Jays, Jalen and Jason, Rob, Will, Time Lord, if you will, and Smart. Everybody else, fair game. Sorry, not sorry. We need some people that want to take it to the next level. And honestly, I kind of, when Kevin Garnett comes here for the jersey retirement, I want him to just smack some sense into these guys about, having that grit, having that passion, not being fucking best friends with the dudes that just wiped your ass all over the court and beat your ass. I'm not gonna go up to you and be like, yo bro, let's get dinner after this. Nah, fuck that shit. Cool, you guys can be bros in the off season. You guys can be friends all you want. But this is a competition. You're trying to fucking win. So I'm all set with the let's trade jerseys and let's hug it out and let's be best friends. Nah. You guys need to have that grit like it used to be back in the day. It needs to not be so buddy-buddy. I'm glad that everyone loves each other. Great, that's awesome. I'm not saying you need to hate each other. But you guys need to act like you're actually playing a game to win and not just to be yo, what up, clout? I want this clout because we're cool, we're friends. Nah. That's not how you win a game. So, like I said, taking on the Nets, but they are the shorthanded Nets Tuesday, and then they have a little bit of a break, and then Friday they come back home and they play the Denver Nuggets, and then just got a couple more games until the All-Star break, which is the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and then again, like I said, we're going to keep on the lookout for the trade deadline, which is the 10th, which is coming up very quick, 3 p.m., set your clocks, we'll see what Brad does, trust in Brad. I'm not going to, I did talk a lot of shit about Ime. I'm still not sure about Ime. A 5-win streak doesn't mean that we erase everything that has happened this past however many months we've been playing so far. I'm not still 100% on him. Was I being a little too harsh? Maybe. Okay, I get it. It's his first year. But I need him to really step up because he asked for this job and he asked for this challenge and he asked for this role. So I really need him to do better because just being 5 above 500 isn't good enough for me when We are a team that has 17 championships, and we are a team of history. And it's kind of frustrating that the last championship we've had was '08. And honestly, even though we feel like that was yesterday, it's not yesterday. Like, that was a long ass time ago now. We are in 2022. So, we need to really think of, the bigger picture, and that's to be a championship caliber team again, like we know how to be. So I will check back in with you in a few, and I'm praying, Lord Jesus, I pray that we are still on a win streak. Let's keep that going. Like, you guys have it in you. Do not get trapped in these trap games. The rest of this season, regular season, is almost over. Like, the second week in March, it's over, and we're in February right now. Like, they don't have many games left. They need to keep inching and inching and inching away from the play-in. They need to get up there so they're not in, that dangerous territory of maybe not even making playoffs. They need to do better. They need to keep rising to the occasion. Do not be fooled by the below 500 teams that you're facing the rest of this season, because they will come up and bite you in the ass if you take them lightly. So that would be my 2 cents, my advice on the rest of this season. I will check back in with you, obviously, very shortly, and beat the fucking Nets on Tuesday, for sure. This has been Brie Marie D for Boston Banner Bound. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to comment topics that you want me to talk about. Let me know. I'm all ears. Thanks, guys. See you soon.